Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, the only show on Indian television where you, the MSME, get center stage. This is ET Now's special daily initiative to give MSMEs and entrepreneurs the opportunity to be front and center on every industry and area that matters to you. Tonight, we're bringing you a very special conversation. I'm bringing you an exclusive chat with Noel Messone. He's the Minister of Foreign Affairs at Gabon. We caught up on bilateral trade between the two countries as well as small businesses and its importance. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on ET Now. It's a pleasure to be able to talk about bilateral relations and also talk about small businesses and the kind of growth that we are likely to see for small businesses in Gabon. My first question to you is about bilateral trade between the two countries. How has that possibly changed? What are some of the things that you think are likely to have an impact in a positive way going forward?
Well, first of all, let me thank you for the opportunity to discuss the partnership between Gabon and India. Indeed, as you said, our two countries have had a strong bilateral relations over the years, particularly over the past 10 years. Gabon and India shared a mandate at the Security Council back in 2010 and 2011. We worked very well. And that trend was also consolidated by an agreement that we signed in 2017 for regular diplomatic consultations. So that's really a good foundation for the partnership between our two countries.
I just want to pick up on what you're saying. Any specific area that you see us collaborating in? I do know you're one of the largest oil producing countries. I do know that timber, for instance, forms a large part of the revenues of Gabon. Any of these specific industries or areas that you think Indian companies can be particularly collaborating on?
Indian companies are today present in three major sectors of priorities of our economy. Agro-industry is one, mining is another, and oil is certainly set to be another one. We are also looking into different areas such as IT, but anything else that has to do with supporting the diversification trend of the economy. Today, with the presence of the Olam Group, agro-industry is really the big push, and also the construction by Olam and other interests of the Special Economic Zone was a major push for the presence of Indian investment in Gabon.
Okay.
Yes.
You were talking about the Special Economic Zones or the SEZs. I will come back to that. But first, just going back to one of my previous questions in terms of what areas Gabon and India could perhaps collaborate or cooperate on. Solar energy, clean energy, that's a big talking point here in India, as far as that's where we would like to move to. The government has set deadlines to say we would like to see clean energy in a big way here. How do you see that perhaps being an area of collaboration or cooperation between our two countries?
I think one of the reasons why we joined this solar alliance is because we think that renewables are the way of the future, particularly with our priority to environmental protection, the fight against climate change. We think that solar energy has to be an important component of our energy mix, but we want to move progressively to reach a higher level of renewable. These are the foundations of our vision for the future. We see the Solar Alliance as a significant opportunity to move in that direction. And we also feel that with the technology drive that India is now having in the solar sector, we see it as a key area of partnership, a key area where business and investment could also be developed between our two countries.
How does this perhaps sit with the fact that you're one of the larger oil producing countries globally? How do the two then perhaps go side by side?
Well, we also want to make our oil production environmental friendly.
Sure.
But oil will continue to be a major sector. But I must tell you also that with our diversification strategy, the non-oil sector has been increasing. Oil used to be the dominant sector. Oil is now about 44% of GDP, which is a significant decrease from what it used to be in the past, and also tells our determination to lower the impact of the oil industry in the overall economy.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the environment, you're someone who is very closely associated with the environment ministry in Gabon. We talk very often, of course, of the environment laws in India for businesses. Mm-hmm. If you can talk about maybe some of the key policies as far as environmental laws for businesses in Gabon are concerned, and any highlights you can give us.
For example, the forestry and timber sector, which is one of the key sectors of the economy today, we first of all ensured that companies operating in that sector respect our sustainable management policy. As far as the oil sector is concerned, we recently adopted a new environmental law that in certain ways is more stringent than what it used to be in the past, but in other ways that also takes into account the challenges that companies are facing to remain competitive in a context where environmental protection is becoming a priority. So we try to reconcile to have a fair balance in our environmental regulation today.
Let's talk about small businesses. Leaders of Tomorrow is India's only television show. It's a daily show that talks to small businesses. And my question to you is to talk about the importance of small businesses to the economy of Gabon.
Very important sector. Small businesses are key to an economy such as ours across the board in sectors such as construction and housing, agriculture, services, tourism. We're trying to reduce, for example, the time that it takes to open up a business. I don't know exactly what the time is now, or the period is now.
I do have the statistics that I will come to that.
Yes, but we are really endeavoring to shorten so that, when it comes to doing business in Gabon, we have a better ranking, and that we create a more business-friendly environment for small businesses, but also for the big investors that are looking into investing in Gabon.
Okay, I want to talk about some of the specific policies that you have for small businesses, and I first want to talk of the special economic zones you were referring to earlier.
Yes.
If you can talk to us about how these SEZs basically promote small businesses, some of the incentives or benefits there.
They promote small businesses through both fiscal and customs incentives. You know that small businesses, some of them rely on imports of inputs. So we try to make sure that when they import capital equipment and other types of inputs, that they do get rebates, custom rebates and fiscal rebates. That's a key area where we promote small businesses. But we try also to get banks involved with affordable credit. We know that banks tend to be shy in investing or lending to small businesses. We try to encourage them with different types of guarantee schemes to encourage them to lend to small businesses. But overall, the government also, as far as labor is concerned, try to ease regulation as far as social requirements are concerned, and those sorts of requirements also. And I must say, it's really both for small businesses but also for bigger companies that we feel could make a push in our diversification strategy.
To hold that thought, much more on the other side, that we're going to continue talking about small businesses in Gabon. Just stay tuned. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on the show we're bringing you a special conversation with the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Gabon. I noticed that you also encourage a lot of international tie-ups between businesses that are there in Gabon with their other global peers. One or two things that you can talk about there. How is it really benefiting businesses, particularly small businesses?
Well, you know, first of all, one has to bear in mind that we're really serious about diversification of the economy. That's one thing. We're also very serious about the job creation potential of any type of investment, being it big ones or small businesses. That's the second thing to bear in mind. Thirdly, as I said, we are very serious about creating an environment that is really business friendly, that facilitates investment, and an environment where the administration, the state, is not creating more red tape and additional impediments to investment or operations of small businesses. These are key pointers, you know, that we continue to work on and that we continue to improve on, so that in the long run our diversification strategy produces the best results.
Okay. Yes. You said something very interesting about bringing down the amount of red tape. Ease of doing business is something that the Prime Minister here in India, for instance, is pushing a lot. I had some statistics that I was reading up on, that the average number of days to start a business has come down to about 22.5 days from 61 days in 2003. One or two things that you're doing which is helping bring down the trend?
Partly, the special economic zone is one key factor, but we recently created a new agency that is a consolidation of different agencies that existed in country. We wanted to have something that is more efficient, something that is organized differently, so that small businesses indeed get the kind of support and the kind of accompaniment that is necessary for them to shorten the time it takes to create a business, but also with other dealings with the administration. That agency is really today is a key agent of change in that respect.
Okay. Speaking of the ease of doing business, I understand that nearly 83 reforms have been implemented in 36 countries as far as the African continent goes, but Gabon is at about 167 when it comes to the global list of ease of doing business. Even as you're implementing these policies and reforms, even as you're setting up the SEZs, how do you see the ease of doing business then improving going forward?
You know, I always have qualms about these rankings and these surveys. From one survey to another, you get a different story. But what's important for us is really to continue improving, so that actually when an Indian company comes to Gabon, it's not what they read in the doing business report. It's actually what they see in country, how their experience, in setting up business, in handling all kinds of procedures, the ease of handling these procedures. That experience for us is more important than the ranking. The ranking is of course important because people read these reports and so forth. But what we really try to do is that the actual experience of an investor coming to explore or coming to set up business, that the procedures are easy, they are facilitated, and that they can be handled, they can get the support, the flexible support that they need when they're actually on the situation.
Okay. Yes. I want to talk about some of the other things which are important to entrepreneurs. First is skilling. Yes. Skill and skill development becomes very crucial as far as small businesses particularly go, which don't necessarily have the funds then to be able to hire the best in industry. Could you talk about what your country is doing when it comes to skill development and making sure that this skilled workforce is available to these businesses?
That's a key one also. The Labour Ministry is working hard to set up special training schools for certain types of specialized and skilled labor that is needed in big agriculture investment or in big mining investments or other types of big investments. That we are doing. We are also giving companies incentives when they do their own in-house training to upgrade the skills of workers or to hire additional skilled workers. But we really giving high priority in education and training. We're opening different specialized training schools and institutes, either in the timber industry, in the mining industry, in the petroleum industry, those key industry, but also in services. We try to make it so that the formal classical system is really in synergy with the more flexible systems of in-house, in-company training, but also the short-term specialized training units that are being created across the country. That plus incentives that we give to companies.
As we're winding down this conversation, I want to talk about the use of technology. India, of course, is known for its quality of highly skilled manpower when it comes to the technology space. Could you talk about how technology is being used in Gabon by small businesses, how perhaps like them to be able to tap into the pool of manpower that's available and use technology for skilling as well as reskilling?
One of the technologies that we are pushing both for the private sector and the government is IT technologies. We believe that IT have a great potential for making small businesses and the public sector more efficient. We are investing, for example, in fiber optics. We are helping cell phone companies, for example, to upgrade their equipment and their investments in the country so that they become drivers of efficiency for small businesses and for the public sector. But technology also has to do with training. I think we talked about the skilling of workers. We do it because we want workers that are technology savvy, that can use the most recent technologies in all kinds of sectors, being it forestry, timber, even in the hospital sector, in the services sector. Upgrading the technology profile of the country is, of course, one of our priority, and we want to partner with countries where we see a comparative advantage in technology and that we can benefit from, such as India. We know in IT and other technology that India is making good strides, and we certainly hope to benefit from India's experience in certain technologies. Yes.
My last question to you today, Mr. Minister, if you can outline your business as well as your investment vision for both countries.
What we want to see beyond investment, first of all, is a strong bilateral partnership that covers, as I said, the diplomatic, political, but also the economic, cultural, people-to-people contacts. That's a sort of quality partnership that we want to see with India. Now, when it comes to investment in business, we want to see promoted the possibility for investors in both countries to get together in joint ventures or into other types of associations, when it's possible, whenever possible, but also to encourage that sort of trend, because we see Gabon as a gateway into the African continent, into the Central African regions. With that sort of position, we hope that Indian investors could really partner with their Gabonese counterparts in joint ventures whenever possible, either to tap the local Gabonese market or to venture into other regional markets where Gabonese companies, Gabonese investors have more experience and certain advantage in knowing these other countries. That's a sort of vision, sort of strategy that we want to see for the future.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with us here.
Thank you very much.
That's our show. If you have any feedback, any comments, do remember we love hearing from you. You can send us your comments directly at leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com. On social media, tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J or LOT_ET now, our official Twitter handle. You can also leave your comments on our Facebook page, Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now. Thanks very much for watching. Have a good night.